Well, greetings. This is Pastor Tad Marshall from Lakeside Baptist Church, and here is the update information for our trip to the land of the Bible, Lord willing, in December of this year, and we are very excited about it. So you folks from Lakeside who are interested in going, many of you have already signed up. We'll give you an update about where we stand. There may be some of you folks even from Beth Haven Baptist Church, Pastor David Mims, and you may be watching, and I know that he has given you updated information, but we're excited, Lord willing, about going together. And this is intended to give you an update about where we stand and the status of the trip. And if any time during the time that you're watching this video, you have questions or you have any kind of concerns about anything, please feel free to submit that in the form of an email. My wife Amy is the trip coordinator, and her email is amy@lakesidebaptistchurch.com. amy@lakesidebaptistchurch.com. Now, many of you may know her or my phone number, cell phone number. Feel free to send us a text message. That's always an easy way to reach out to us. Also, I probably am not going to put our cell numbers on the World Wide Web. You can understand that. But also, it's easy to go by way of an email, amy@lakesidebaptistchurch.com. So if you have any questions about anything, something that maybe I have not made clear, and any way we can give you some answers, feel free to reach out to us at any time. So I want to bring you up to date about our trip and safety and deadlines and some details about the trip, and I'm very excited about it. I just came back from Israel a few days ago, and I plan to go back in a few more days in the month of May, and I'm preparing, I'm studying, and I look forward to it. This is our brochure, and many of you have already received this. This is the original brochure. It's not been updated. It just stands as it is. If you do not have a copy, we can send you a PDF copy. Again, if you'll email my wife Amy at that email address, then we will send you a PDF copy, and you can print it, you can download it, you can look at it on your phone or computer, and it has all the details. It has the price. Remember, the original price still staying the same, even though things have changed a little bit, certainly in Israel. The price is still the same. It's $38.99. That's for an individual going double occupancy. Two friends, a husband, wife, whatever, but a double occupancy. There is an additional charge if somebody wants a room individually, and then there is a land-only price. If you have frequent flyer miles, that's wonderful. There's a land-only price, and you can see all that in the brochure. So if you need a brochure, if you need that emailed to you, send that to my wife Amy at lakesidebaptistchurch.com. Let me just go into the details. Let's get right into this. And thank you for watching. First of all, I'll say to you that the trip is moving forward, and I'm very excited about that. There have been some questions about, are we going to do this? Well, I have been praying, and our director, Brother Kurt Skelly, who is the owner of Land of the Bible, he's a pastor in Virginia, and he's taken many groups. There are many other groups that are planning to be in Israel. Even with our group, we're not going to the same sites at the same time, but there'll be many buses there, Lord willing, from many good fundamental Baptist churches. And so they're all progressing forward. Our trip is progressing forward, and we're moving forward, and we are on schedule. And so I know the first thing that may enter people's minds are about the environment that there is now in Israel. What happened on October the 7th of this past fall is just absolutely unthinkable, and it has affected Israel. We've been watching that on the news. You've been watching that on the news. But after a period of time, we decided to make a trip to Israel, and we found it to be extremely safe and secure. At no time in my 6 days or almost 7 days there did I feel unsafe or insecure in any form or fashion. Remember now, if you simply watch the news media, and the people in Israel are begging us to come, and they are asking us not to watch what is being reported many times in the news because it's not always accurate. But what happens in Israel, most of it is happening down in the Gaza area. The fighting is in Gaza, technically not Israel. And there are some issues certainly up north, but those areas are not areas that we are going to. And the areas where the group of pastors went, we had a total of 6 pastors that I went with, and we went all over the main region of Israel, certainly in and around Jerusalem and areas of Galilee and by the Mediterranean Sea, and we found everything to be open. Restaurants are open. Stores are open. Schools are open. I mean, we never felt it has greatly affected the people of Israel. There's absolutely no question about it. I stayed with Alan and Nagit, and they brought me up to date. We are daily in contact, Brother Skelly, and even ourselves, we are daily in contact with people in Israel, keeping up to date with what's happening. And we just found it to be extremely safe. Tour groups are beginning to come to Israel. We ran into some. They're starting back slowly. We ran into several groups there in Israel, senior citizens from the United States on big tour buses, and they were going to sites. And tour groups are beginning to come back. All of the sites are open. And again, restaurants, schools. I saw many school children walking the streets of Jerusalem and Israel, and life goes on. The Israeli people have lived that way for many years, and any time I've ever been there, there's always been some type of thing going on concerning Israel, and they just go on and they live. And so we are excited about, really, I feel very confident about security and safety of taking a group to Israel. And again, I plan to go back at the end of May and for another study trip. And then, of course, our trip is planned for December. So I feel really good about it. All the experts that we're talking about feel really good about it. So now, having said that, there obviously is a little adjustment to our schedule. And what that means is there are a few sites that initially may have been in the brochure that we're going to avoid. And that is for safety. And you understand that. And what is exciting about that is we're not going to miss any sites that are maybe some of the major sites. But what that does is it alters our schedule a little bit. It opens up other sites that are certainly in the regions that we will be safe to go to that we typically would not maybe even visit. And that's exciting to me, some unique sites. And I just visited Shiloh when I was there, and I've never been there before. My fourth visit to Israel, I'd never been to Shiloh. And there are other sites like that I think are exciting and enlightening. And so that's the exciting thing about that, is maybe even altering the schedule a little bit just so everybody will be good. Then it opens up sites that maybe we not have planned to initially visit. So I want you to know that. And so praise the Lord. We're advancing forward. The trip is moving forward on time. Now, let me bring you up to date on some deadlines, because I know the deadlines are certainly important. It kind of is snuck up on us really quickly, but this Wednesday, here it is Monday, April the 1st. Wednesday, April the 3rd, is technically the deadline for a $250 deposit to secure your seat and your spot on the journey. Now, the good thing is most everybody watching this, if you've already signed up, you've already done that. So you've already met that deadline. There's no issues with that. But if there's anybody out there who still would like to sign up, you're going to save $50 by giving us the deposit by this Wednesday, April the 3rd. After April the 3rd, beginning April the 4th, then the trip technically goes up by $50. Now, that does not affect you. If you've already signed up, you're good. Price is the same. It only goes up $50 for any new people who sign up after Wednesday night here at Lakeside. So that is the only way to secure your deposit. If you have not, most of you have, but if you have not paid your $250 deposit, make sure that's paid by April the 3rd, which is Wednesday, then the price is still the same. After that, it goes up $50. So that's the initial deposit. That your spot on the journey is not technically scheduled until you pay that $250 deposit. Now, then the next deadline, and it's all in your brochure. If you have the brochure, if you have a copy of it, or if you have it in your email, if you need to send us one, we will. All of this is in there. But you'll notice the next payment after the initial $250 deposit, the next payment is a payment of $1,000. And that payment is due by May the 5th. So that's another month or a little bit more than a month out. And so again, that's just a payment method for the trip. So the initial $250, which most of you have already paid, the next $1,000 payment is due on April the 5th, and you need to send that, May the 5th. You need to, May the 5th, over a month away, and you need to make sure that's given to my wife, Miss Amy. And then, or if you're watching this from Pastor David Mims, give that to him, and he'll give that to us. Then the final payment, the final balance, whatever, you subtract the $250, you subtract the $1,000, the final remainder of that is due September the 9th. So that gives you plenty of notice. That gives you plenty of time. And again, all this is spelled out laid out in our brochure. And so if you have that, then you're good with that. So I wanted to give you those dates. Remember now, most of you have paid the deposit, but if you haven't paid the deposit, do that by Wednesday. And this coming Wednesday. After that, it goes up $250. If you're here, excuse me, I'm reading the message. I'm talking at the same time. It only goes up $50. Disregard what I just said. If you are here at church, any of the payments, instead of handing them to Miss Amy, you can do that. But also, the giving boxes that we have in the lobby, all of that, you can place that. There's actually one right outside the church office. You can place that in the box, the payment office box right outside the church office. So anyway, just trying to read notes here and go on. So we talked about the dates there. The deposit, the next $1,000 payment, May the 5th, and the final there on September the 8th. And all that is spelled out in your brochure. Let's talk about passports for a minute, because it is, you can have your spot on the plane, you can have your hotel reserved, you can have everything, but if you do not have a passport, you absolutely cannot go on this trip. That's not my doings. That's international. That's the United States of America and the nation of Israel. So you absolutely have to have a passport. Many of you should have already secured that. I mean, there's been plenty of notice. I think we started talking about this months and months and months ago, this past fall. So I will say this: if you have not yet begun the process to secure your passport, here I am on Monday, April the 1st. The latest that you need to begin that process is this week. I mean, we're already past a lot of deadlines. But if you have not begun the process of applying for your passport at the U.S. Post Office, you need to do that ASAP. I cannot stress that enough. And the reason is, you say, well, we're not going till December. You're right about that. But airline tickets have to be purchased. And when you purchase international airline tickets, when the travel agency does this, they have to have your passport number. You don't have a passport number if you don't have a passport. Even if it's an older passport, if it's outdated, that number is no longer valid. So if you have not begun, so in other words, in order to get your airline ticket, those are going to be bought pretty soon from the travel agency. And so your passport is an absolute must. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And so this week, I'll just say this is a word to the wise. You need to go potentially even to the U.S. Post Office today. I mean, if you can't do it today, go tomorrow. But this week, you have got to get that information filled out. They will take a picture of you. You will send it off. I would even encourage you at this point to have it expedited. I think it's a few more dollars, but you need to have it expedited. You need to get that passport back ASAP. There's no grace period in this. That's beyond my control. I have nothing to do with this. So there's a lot of things that we can do, but I can do nothing about a passport. So again, if you have that, here's what you need to do. You need to either have the passport that you have already, that's valid. Remember, it needs not to expire no sooner than 6 months beyond the date that we return, which is December 12th, I believe. So your passport needs to be valid 6 months beyond December the 12th. And if it's not, then you need to have a renewed passport, and do that ASAP. All right? But when you get your passport, if you have it now and you're good to go, take a picture of it. I want you to email that to my wife, the email address that I gave you. All right? And then when you receive your passport, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks, if you have it expedited, and you need to do that, then you take a picture of it, make sure it's signed. You take a picture of it and email that to my wife. Many of you, if not most of you, have already done that. This is a word to the wise of the folks who have not. Don't drag your feet about this. This would absolutely keep you from going on the trip. No matter what else is arranged, if you do not have your passport, you cannot go. All right? That's it. So now, today is the day. Get that going. And then when you have your passport, and if you already do, take a picture of it, email it to my wife at amy@lakesidebaptistchurch.com. So keep that in mind, if you will. Now, many of you, my wife has contacted over the last few days, and what we're trying to do, those of you who have already signed up, we're trying to make sure that you give us a confirmation. I know there's been a lot to pray about. I've been fervently praying. I know that you have too. And that's one of the reasons why I've taken the trip and I'm going back again. We're just trying to make sure that we're good. And I feel like that we are, and the experts that I talk to feel like that we are. But we need to know from you, are you going? You've paid a deposit, many of you have. You've signed up to go, and we need to confirm. Now, many of you have already responded back to my wife. If you've done that, then you're good. But some of you we've not heard back from yet. So you need to give us that verification, either by way of a text or by way of an email or even a phone call or seeing us here at church. We need to know. We need to know ASAP whether or not you're going, because here's the details. But we need to know really by Wednesday. I mean, if you could let us know today and tomorrow, that's awesome. But we need to know by Wednesday, because Thursday, you realize the $250 deposit that all of you have already paid. We've not sent that yet. Because of what happened in October, we've kind of been in a holding pattern. So the deposits have not been sent to the tour agency as I speak, but they will be mailed on Thursday. All right. So after Thursday, getting the deposit back would be a little bit more of an effort. All right. So we need to know. So if you're dragging your feet about giving us a verification, giving us a confirmation that you definitely are going, then you need to let us know that today or tomorrow, because Thursday the deposits are going to be mailed. And so please let us know that verification. I will tell you this in closing, there are still spots available. All right. Now, just because deadlines we're talking about are Wednesday for the deposit and all this, it's only going to go up $50 after that. Okay. So even if you're on the fence, maybe you haven't signed up. Maybe you've been looking at the brochure. You want one, email us. We'll send you one. But if you have questions, feel free to contact us. You can call me. You can text me. Same thing with my wife. But if you're on the fence, I'd like to go. I'm not sure about going. But yes, you can still sign up even after this Wednesday. You can sign up next month for that matter. I would encourage you not to wait. But yes, it's not closed yet. It's just going to cost you $50 more per person. And if you would like to talk to me at any time, feel free to talk to me. And if we can answer any questions, we're happy to. So this is basically the update. I've given you the deadlines. I've given you the information about the finances. And we've talked a little bit about security. And pray for me as I travel back over there in May. And with a matter of fact, David Mims from Beth Haven is traveling with me. Him and I are traveling together, and I'm excited about that. I'm glad I get to go with him. And we're learning, we're studying, we're taking videos, we're preparing, we're trying to find answers to any questions that we have. And so we're very excited about it. So I'm glad David and I are going together with Brother Skelly. And so in closing, I'll say this, the trip is on. We're excited about it. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And I'm glad that you have an interest. And I pray that this would have been an informative video. God bless you. Say something good about God. And I pray that you have a great day.